Good afternoon. Today is Tuesday, July 15, 2025. This is the second hearing of the month for the hearing officer. My name is Vanessa McDonald. I'm the hearing officer and I'll be conducting the hearing this afternoon. I'm going to read something into the record before we jump into our lengthier than normal agenda. The City of Tempe hearing officer is authorized by Arizona Revised Statutes and the City of Tempe Zoning and Development Code. The hearing officer is granted the authority to conduct public hearings to decide upon the abatement of code violations occurring on properties within the city. These violations include deteriorated pools, structures, or landscaping, storage of junk or refuse, and storage of inoperable or unregistered vehicles. Abatement actions are brought before the hearing officer by the city's Code Compliance Division, typically after numerous attempts at contacting the property owner to obtain voluntary compliance with the code. The hearing officer may issue an order directing the owner, occupant, property manager, or other responsible person to remediate a code violation, or may authorize the city to abate the property. The cost of the abatement is the responsibility of the owner of the property where the violation occurs and is collected as an assessment against the property in violation of the code. On today's agenda, we have 5 items. We have a set of minutes from July 1st, 2025, and we have 4 property abatements. It was called to my attention that a previously agendized item number 3, has been brought into compliance, so we no longer will be hearing that case. Any property owner who is aggrieved by a decision of the hearing officer may file an appeal within 14 calendar days after the hearing officer has made a decision. The deadline for appealing any decision rendered today is 3 p.m. on July 29th, 2025. Appeals are heard by the Board of Adjustment, after which they may also be appealed to the Superior Court. A property owner has 14 days after the hearing officer's decision to either file an appeal or bring the property into code compliance. If an appeal isn't filed or the property isn't brought into compliance within this required 14-day time frame, the property will be abated by the city. Joining me this afternoon from Community Development are Cassidy McFerrin and Sean DeFara. Thank you guys for being here and setting this up. The first item on our agenda this afternoon is a set of minutes from July 1st, 2025. I took a look at the minutes when Cassidy sent them to me, and I believe they accurately reflect what took place at that hearing, so I'm going to approve the minutes of July 1st, 2025. Agenda item number 2 is a request for approval to abate public nuisance items at the Weary property. This property is located at 1939 East Apollo Avenue. The applicant is the City of Tempe Code Compliance, represented this afternoon by Inspector Hector Heredia. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Madam Hearing Officer. I appreciate your time this afternoon. As stated, my name is Hector Heredia. I'm a Code Inspector with the City of Tempe Code Enhancement Division, and I am here seeking the approval for a 180-day open abatement period for the property located at 1939 East Apollo Avenue in the City of Tempe, A5282, property owner Jessica Weary. This case was initiated on February 6, 2025 by an anonymous citizen approximately 6 months ago. The complaint outlined several property violations brought to our attention and of the property owner by letter notification, but due to lack of communication with the property owner, lack of corrective measures, citation, and ongoing concerns are here seeking for that approval. As stated, the case was initiated on 2/6/25. An anonymous complaint was received regarding junk, trash, debris, an inoperable, unregistered vehicle, a dead palm stump, in the front yard, dead palm fronds on a tree in the backyard, missing address numbers, and some minor alley maintenance. These concerns were then verified, and a first notice was sent to the property owner and to the tenant. Approximately 14 days later, at the follow-up inspection, nothing was done, and a final notice was then mailed to the property owner and tenant as well. Shortly after and noticing minor progress and some ongoing efforts, granted an extension towards compliance. About 20 days later, I left a message for the property owner's mother, Ms. Hinty, regarding ongoing corrective action and granted another extension towards compliance. On 4/11/2025, again after speaking to Ms. Hinty, was told that the property owner, her daughter, was in a mental health care facility and needed more time to address the concerns. I granted another extension based on the unique circumstances of the case and in hopes of compliance. On 4/28/2025, at the follow-up inspection, I noticed that a majority of the concerns were addressed. At this point, only the palm trees were in violation, meaning that the palm tree stump in the front yard, remained, as well as some of the dead palm fronds on the tree in the backyard also remained. On 5/13/2025, after ongoing efforts, the property owner could not bring the property into compliance, and a first citation was issued. That citation resulted in a failure to appear. Unfortunately, shortly after that, on 6/6/2025, additional concerns were noted after another anonymous complaint updated our case regarding a deteriorated pool and deteriorated overgrowth in the backyard. That was then verified, but due to the failure to appear and ongoing efforts, decided that it would be best to pursue abatement based on the location of the property owner and her current mental health issues. So I am here today seeking for the approval of the abatement period, 180-day open abatement period for the location 1939 East Apollo Avenue in the city of Tempe.
Thank you.
I was at the property early this morning at approximately 9 a.m. And as you can see here, some pond fronds remain still out of violation, but part of the General Code 21-3B8. This is the palm tree stump in the front yard. It can easily be noted here. Mm-hmm. The first photo is a depiction of the west side portion of the yard, where we can see a lot of deteriorated landscaping as well as some scattered debris. This photograph is more of a centralized location of the property and outlining more of the debris that is pretty much outlining the greater portion of this photo, as well as the deteriorated landscaping. And finally, this is the easternmost portion of the backyard, where we can see the additional concern of the deteriorated pool, as well as some of the debris that is clearly laid out through the eastern portion of that backyard, some overgrowth here in the tree, and that's it for this afternoon.
Thank you. Yeah, the property has not gotten any better since the pictures I have in my packet, which were dated early May. Is there anyone on the line, Mr. DeFarad, wanting to talk to about this item?
Madam Hearing Officer, no one online.
Okay, I'll make a note for the record. There's no one here in the chamber other than City of Tempe staff, so there's no one here wanting to talk about this agenda item. Well, due to the severity of the property, the condition of the property, and certainly given the fact of the property owner herself is unavailable to take care of these, and it's been, like you said, since February, I'm going to go ahead and grant the 180-day abatement that you requested for the Weary property located at 1939 East Apollo and contained in case CE 250781.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. As I mentioned before, agenda item number 3 has been brought into compliance, so we're going to go ahead to agenda item number 4. This is a request for approval to abate public nuisance items at the Murphy property located at 1013 West 12th Place. The applicant is the City of Tempe Code Compliance, represented this afternoon by Inspector Kevin Kowalski. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer. My name is Kevin Kowalski, and I'm a Code Compliance Inspector with the City of Tempe, Code Compliance Division. I'm here this evening to request a 180-day open abatement for the property located at 1013 West 12th Place, City of Tempe, zip code 85281. This case was initiated on February 24th, 2025, originally for transients living in the backyard and in a shed of the property, and some junk, trash, and debris also in the rear of the property. On February 24th of this year, I inspected the property and observed that it had been fenced off due to a residential fire. In addition, a small shed was seen in the backyard, unsecured, along with a significant amount of junk, trash, and debris, some consistent with homeless persons living there. I mailed the first notice to the identified owner of the property, Leighton Murphy. On March 10th, I conducted a follow-up inspection, a reinspection of the property, and found no improvements had been made, and no one was seen on the property at that time. I was able to locate and call a phone number for the last tenant to the residence. Her name was Rebecca, and asked her to call back with any kind of contact information she might have for the owner. The following day, on March 11th, I did receive a call back from her. She identifies herself as Rebecca and was the property owner's niece, who said her uncle had passed away and the property had been in probate for the past 2 years. Wow. On April 30th, I again spoke with Rebecca, who along with other family members had rented a City of Tempe dumpster and had been actively trying to clean out the residence and backyard, trying to clean it up ever since April 4th to the day that I spoke with her on April 30th. At that time, she told me that she was no longer invested in the property financially, didn't want to contribute any other kind of money or effort to take care of it, and again, since the property was in probate. On June 13th, I posted a notice of intent to debate to the property and mailed it to the property's last known address, which was in Alaska. Again, the property owner is deceased. Any family no longer wishes to assist with getting it into compliance. No citation was ever issued as the residence is in probate and the owner is deceased. At this time, I'd like to present photos to you taken today of the existing violations.
Thank you. What a complicated property history.
Right, exactly. All right, if you can still hear me. Here's the backyard of the residence. You can see the junk, trash, and debris. Most of this is scrap metal, bicycles, everything that was kept on site along the back line of the property. It's facing east. It's a little bit greater close-up view of those items we were just looking at. Miscellaneous items, lawnmowers, chairs, again, all the bicycles and bicycle parts located along the east side of the property. This is a more centralized photo of the backyard facing the back patio. Since the initial investigation began up to today, some additional things have been, added and hung from the back patio. And you'll see later here that give me indications that there are people that come onto the property off and on in between inspections. Here's a photograph facing west of the backyard. This is the original shed that was called into question, which has since been boarded up by family. But these items over here are new, these umbrellas, and as you'll see a little bit maybe from another photos, that appears that people are actively living there. Some blankets and sleeping bags underneath those large umbrellas. And this is just a better close-up view of those scrap pieces of metal and bicycles along the east side of the property itself. Stated before, I'm seeking a 180-day open abatement for the violations of Nuisance Code 21-3B1, junk, trash, and debris, for the address of 1013 West 12th Place, Tempe, 85281.
Thank you. I do have a question. In your report, you said that the niece stated that an authority to trespass exists for this property. What does that mean?
So in her efforts to try to help mitigate the property of homeless persons coming on there, she had contacted the Tempe Police Department, and you can complete a trespass form so that they have it on file in the event that they get a trespassing call and they respond there and they find somebody on the property they can execute.
Oh, okay. You're giving the PD the authority
Right.
to remove the
Correct.
got
So that
it.
they're not doing it every time that they have
Yeah,
to come
I'd
on.
never seen that term before, so I was like, what is that? It sounded like people had authority to trespass. So, no, Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the photographs. Thank you for the presentation. Mr. DeFara, is anyone wanting to speak on this item online?
Madam Hearing Officer, no one online.
Okay, again, I'll make another note that only City of Tempe staff is here in the chamber, so there's no one here to speak on this item. So again, like the previous case, given the severity of the property condition and the fact that people keep trying to live on it and the owner and family is not around to take care of the property, I'm going to go ahead and grant the 180-day open abatement request for the property located at 1013 West 12th Place, contained in CE 251183.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is agenda item number 5. This is a request to abate public nuisance items at the Canzano residence. This property is located at 1133 East Concordia Drive here in Tempe. Representing the code compliance staff this afternoon is Code Inspector Andres Lara Reyes. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer. My name is Andres Lara Reyes. I'm a co-inspector with the City Tempe Community Enhancement Division. I'm here to request an 180-day open abatement for the property located at 1133 East Concordia Drive, Tempe, Arizona, 55282. Owner, Mr. Robert Canzano. This case was initiated by public complaint on February 14, 2025 for violations for trash, litter, and debris in the front, back, the east side yard, and the alley. Also for an inoperable unregistered vehicle and dead trees and dead vegetation. A correction notice was mailed out to 1133 East Concordia Drive, Tempe, Arizona, 55282. The property was re-inspected on March 17, 2025 with minimum improvements done. The property remained in violation for trash, litter, and debris, an inoperable vehicle, and dead trees and dead vegetation. I did contact Mr. Canzano on April 2nd to review the case. But as I was explaining the existing violations and how to bring the property into compliance, he ended the call. So our office also reached...
Up on you?
Yes,
Oh.
he did.
Okay.
So our office reached out to Mr. Canzano on 4/3/2025 and also April 15, 2025 by phone and by email. And an extension was granted by our office with corrections due April 23rd. The citation was issued on April 23rd for trash, litter, and debris, inoperable vehicle, and dead trees. So the owner failed to pay any fines and appear in court. There have been no further contacts with the owner. And at this time, I would like to present photos as of this morning of the property in violation. This here is the front of the property. And as you can see, some debris, landscape debris here, and some on the side yard. Also the tree stumps in the side yard there. This closer look of the side yard where you can see some debris, landscape debris, and also the tree stumps that need to be removed or cut to ground level. This is a photo of the east yard from the street, taken from the street. There's some apparently, a lot of scrap, as you can see. Some kind of discarded air conditioner, some vehicle parts, machinery. I mean, there's quite a bit of stuff on the east side yard, and as you can see, the backyard also. This is the close-up of the backyard, where you can see some machinery and scrap. All kinds of items, water heaters, he's keeping a lot of stuff back there. This is a better look from the alleyway, where you can see some solar panels, some wood, and other items just stacked up in the backyard. This is taken from the alley. And also, this part of the alley is considered part of the property. I'll show a aerial from Maricopa County Assessor's Office in a minute. But there's a lot of trash, debris, some wood. I really don't know what's going on back there. Seems like an encampment, some sort of encampment, or, people staying back there, I'm not sure. This is a closer look of all the debris in the back.
One of those alleys that the trash truck doesn't go down? Is that why they're able to have all this stuff?
I'll show you an aerial
Okay.
of why this is happening.
Okay,
Here is the aerial where, as you can see, the bottom here is part of the property. It's considered as within the guidelines of the property. So, and then the alley runs just a little bit, I guess, west of that.
interesting.
And the owner might consider that it's probably city easement, but it's not. It's part of his property, and he needs to clean it up. And so that's why I stated before, I'm seeking a 180-day open abatement for trash and debris in side and backyards.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. DeFar, is anyone on the line wanting to talk about this item?
Madam Hearing Officer, no one online.
Okay. Another note for the record, no one here is in the chamber other than City of Tempe staff. So given the state of the property and the owner's lack of cooperation and lack of communication with you, I have no other choice but to grant. I wish I could give you more time, but I can only give you 180 days.
Sure.
That you're requesting for the property located at 1133 East Concordia Drive and contained in CE 251010. Thank you.
Thank you.
And the last item on our agenda this afternoon is another property abatement. This is a request to abate public nuisance items located at the ASCII property. This property is located at 1514 North Sunset Drive here in Tempe. Representing the City of Tempe Code Compliance this afternoon is Code Inspector Anna Churin. Good afternoon.
Good evening, Madam Hearing Officer. Good evening, Madam Hearing Officer. My name is Anna Churin. I am a Code Compliance Supervisor with the City of Tempe Code Compliance Division. I am here this evening to request a 180-day open abatement for the property located at 1514 North Sunset Drive in Tempe, Arizona. This case was initiated on October 22nd, 2024 via a public complaint for violations of junk, trash, and debris in the front and backyard. Inspection was conducted on November 5th of 2024 where grass and weeds were found growing in the gravel landscape of the front yard and junk, trash, and debris were in the front and backyard. A first notice was mailed to the property owner. An inspection was conducted on November 19th of 2024 and all violations remained. A final notice was mailed to the property owner. The notices for both indicated the violations, the remedies, and the contact information for the inspector. Inspection was conducted on December 3rd of 2024. All violations remained, and a pink hanger was left on the door with the inspector's contact and case information. On January 6th of 2025, the property owner reached out to ask for an extension. An extension was granted. Between January 13th of 2025 and February 18th of 2025, multiple inspections took place. A small amount of progress was made. However, a significant amount of junk, trash, and debris in the front and backyard, grass and weeds in the front and gravel yard remained. On March 4th of 2025, inspected the property and all violations remained. A pink hanger was left on the door with the inspector's contact and case information. On April 2nd of 2025, a new complaint was received for inoperable unregistered vehicles. On April 7th, 2025, I reassigned this case to me. I inspected the property and all violations remained, to include the new one for inoperable unregistered vehicles. On April 28th of 2025, no communication had been received from the owner. I inspected the property of all violations and they remained, except for there were no inoperable or unregistered vehicles on the property. I spoke with the owner in person and he confirmed he had received all the notices. I provided my contact information and obtained his. A civil citation was issued. I advised the owner to avoid further enforcement. He needs to communicate with me and start making progress on the violations. On May 7th of 2025, I posted a citation to the door. The certified copy was mailed unclaimed. On May 8th, I received a voicemail from the owner asking if he was able to get the front, advising he was able to get the front yard cleaned up, but he was still working on the rest of the property. I spoke with the owner and he confirmed he had received the citation. He asked for an extension to complete the side and backyards. I gave him another extension till May 20th. I advised him to make sure all portions of dead vegetation have been removed from the property. I advised him I'd work with him if he showed significant progress each week and communicated. And I also advised him on his options for his citation. On May 13th, the owner pled responsible to the first citation. On May 20th, I inspected the property and all the violations remained. A very small amount of progress was done on the front yard. On June 10th, there had been no contact from the owner since May 7th. I inspected the property. It was still in violation of the following: junk, trash, and debris in the front, sides, and backyard, dead trees and vines in the front property, grass and weeds in the front yard, gravel, and driveway. The alley had a pile of landscape debris and grass and weeds. The backyard had dead branches on the trees, piles of garbage bags on the back porch, and over high grass and weeds. A second citation was issued. On June 13th, I posted a notice of intent to abate to the property and mailed it to the property owner. On June 23rd, the owner failed to appear on the second citation. I would now like to present the photographs taken this afternoon of the existing violations.
Thank you.
This is a view from the public right-of-way at the front of the house, facing west. You can see the dead trees. This is 1, 2, and then there's some dead bushes. You can also see some grass and weeds starting to develop in the gravel area. This is a view of the front of the house facing west from the public right-of-way, and you can see the dead vine on the house, as well as the grass and weeds in the gravel area. This is the same view from the front of the house, just a little bit zoomed in for the grass and weeds and the gravel. This is the view from the front of the house facing west, where you can see the driveway. And you can see the grass and weeds starting to develop with some dead bushes. Also grass and weeds in the driveway cracks. This is the front of the house on the side yard facing south, where he gets his refuse containers stored, and you can see bags of garbage that have been torn open, and that's been the same the entire case. This is the front of the house on the side as well. This will be in front of the garbage, where you can see piles of cinder block and different junk, trash, and debris, furniture, and the dead tree right there. This is just a better view of what we just looked at from the side of the house, the dead tree, the piles, but you can see multiple hundreds and hundreds of cans, soda and alcohol. And then this is some debris like furniture. This is the front of the house at the front door. It's impossible almost to open the front door. The front door is right here. So each time I've made contact, this area has not changed. You've got miscellaneous junk, trash, and debris. And this is just a zoomed in view. I apologize that I'm gonna have to show you my date here, July 15th at 1:34 this afternoon. And then if I go up, it's just a zoomed in view of the front door. This is the west side of the house, a picture of the alley, where you can see some landscape debris and grass and weeds on his side. This is a view from the alley to the backyard, where you can see dead branches on the citrus tree. These photos are going to be of the backyard, where you can start to see on the patio junk, trash, and debris, deteriorated lawn furniture, and the dead branches. This is a picture of the backyard with the porch where you can see miscellaneous trash and debris. This is the last photo, Madam Hearing Officer, where it's zoomed in, where you can see piles of garbage bags and deteriorated items. And that has not changed during the entire case.
You had a picture that had just like a little snippet of the swimming pool. Is the swimming pool,
It's actually
clear, right?
It's actually clean and clear. Yes.
Wow.
Yep. So
I thought that's what I saw, but I couldn't tell if it was empty or if it
no,
was clear.
yeah, it's
but
full,
it
and
looked
it's the whole time has been clean and clear.
like clear water. Interesting.
As stated before, I'm seeking a 180-day open abatement for the violations of City Tempe Nuisance Code 213B1, filthy littered debris or trash-covered exterior areas, and 213B8 for deteriorated landscape at the property at 1514 North Sunset Drive. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Hearing Officer.
Thank you very much. That was a really great, thorough presentation. Mr. DeFara, anyone on the line?
Madam Hearing Officer, no one online.
Okay, and again, no one here from the public wanting to speak on this agenda item. So I'm going to go ahead and approve your 180-day open abatement request for the ASCII property located at 1514 North Sunset Drive and contained in complaint case number CE 247436.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, that concludes our agenda for this afternoon. Mr. DeFara, any announcements?
One announcement, our next hearing officer is scheduled for Tuesday, August 5th at 5 p.m. here in the council chambers and on Tempe Channel 11.
Thank you very much. We're adjourned.